Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning this day. Yeah, welcome to another KB presentation. With me today is Elijah Moses, a digital marketer. Yeah, today we're talking about, and also is a penetrative strategy. So Elijah, welcome to today's KB.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, wherever you are. Morning, afternoon, evening, in respect of your time zone. All right. So my name is Moses Elijah. Thank you for the brief intro. Okay. So today is a very, very interesting topic. All right. Agile marketing. All right. The roadmap to improving marketing performance. Well, okay, let's move forward. So, what's the course outline for today? All right, to give us a perspective towards the study for today, we're going to go into the introductory guide, the framework for understanding the process of agile marketing case studies. All right, the pros and the cons of agile marketing, and question and answer. Okay, but first, be the change. Well, this is actually a very interesting quote from Abraham Maslow. I love him so much. He's one of the key, actually one of the key sociologists of the 20th century. And his quote is very important for such a time as this. He said, in any given moment, we have two options, either to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. Wow, very interesting. So, what is the overview of today's section? Well, agile marketing, we're going to see an overview on product. The central focus on agile marketing cuts across product and marketing alignment, cut across marketing strategy planning, cut across weekly delivery of marketing initiatives, cut across suggestions for improvement, and lastly, evaluation and monitoring. Okay, so that is just the overview. Now let's go into the introductory guide 101. So what is agile marketing? you know, it's it's very important you understand what the concept is so that you can have an overview of everything. So agile in the marketing context means using data and analytics to continuously source promising opportunities or solutions to problems in real time, deploying tests quickly, evaluating the results, and rapidly iterating. At scale, it is a high performing agile, okay, at scale, a high performing agile market organization can run hundreds of campaigns simultaneously and multiplying new ideas every week. That is amazing. Now, take note of the points I underlined. Test quickly, evaluating the results, and rapid iterations. So, in summary, what does this mean? Well, agile marketing is it's a framework, all right, that combines both data and analytics. There's data and analytics. Analytics is more of the study, the utilization, the processing, the enhancing, the predictions centered around data, driven towards the generation of insight for outcomes. So data analytics meshed up together, directed towards the creation of solutions or the sourcing of opportunities to problems in real time. Please do note, it is problems in real time, not just problems in the possible future. So it gives you an heads up that agile marketing is a concept that is utilized in real time. Now let's move further. So a very interesting quote that connects to what we just discussed earlier. I love Peter F. Drucker. He's called the father of management. I love this concept so much. And he said, the major challenges facing businesses today are accelerating change, increasing complexity, and an ever multiplying competition. So now you see every reason why agile marketing is important for every business. Why is marketing important in the broader scale? The reason why agile marketing is important because to a great extent, marketing determines sales, sales determines profit, and profit is the lifeblood of every business. So if you're in a business that does not generate profit, you're running a charity. All right. So, okay, let's move further. So take note of those points: accelerating change, increasing complexity, and ever multiplying competition. They are called the three C's of three drunkards C. Now, moving to the next concept, the framework for understanding. A framework for understanding. So, under the framework for understanding, in other words, you're asking, in what way then can agile marketing be utilized? What are the required utilities, components, elements, tools, concept that needs to be in place before you can rightly deploy agile marketing methodology? Well, the first thing is the company size. You need to know the company size. Well, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you might not necessarily want to just adopt agile marketing. Why? Because in in the utilization of agile marketing, there is the necessity for collaborative effort. So it's not just a one-man thing, it's a many men united together kind of thing. So the company size matters, very important. A small scale organization can only leverage on agile marketing if and only if, all right, they have other outsourced hands working with them. So in other words, if you're a solo entrepreneur, but you have someone out there working with you, respect your business, then the agile marketing concept can be utilized specifically in the area of marketing. Now, the team structure, very important. Some team structures are vertical, some team structures are horizontal, some team structures are systematic. All right. So if your team structure is vertical, well, it means there'll be more of a hierarchy kind of leadership. Now that can be an issue because if there's a hierarchy kind of leadership, communication does not flow, does not flow as flexible as necessary. All right. So there'll always be different blockades. So that tells you something that in utilizing the agile marketing framework for your business, all right, the best team structure that it works well with or is compatible with is horizontal. Now, when it's horizontal, it means we're all united together. It means communication flows easily. It means there are no necessary blockades towards connections with each other centered around our set objectives. So the next other important point is available resources. Yeah, because you need to not just only have all your eggs in one basket. You need to know the names of all your eggs in your basket. So it's very important. What are the resources available to you? Is there human resource? Is there time resource? Is there capital resource? Is there a possible predictable effort resource? But if these resources are not there, you will only be working with false figures in your mind, and the end thereof will be ineffective outcome. Now, the next point is the needs of stakeholders. So, who are the required components that will be driving, marshalling, promoting, engaging, initiating these processes? So, there's a need of stakeholders. You need to identify these stakeholders. Now, the last point is the structure and the size of your product portfolio. The structure and the size of your product portfolio. So, what is the structure of your product portfolio? What is the scale of your product impact? If your if your product is just going to impact your village, you don't need agile marketing. All right, because it's your village. Okay, if it's going to impact just your house and the next door neighbor, you don't need agile marketing because it's just your house and your next door neighbor. But if you are building a tool, a product that can reach a region, that can reach a nation, that can reach states, that can reach a global scale, then there is a need for effective agile marketing. Okay. Now, what are the process of agile marketing? Yes, there's process to everything. All right, because to a great extent, process determines outcomes, and both process and outcomes are key components in a system. So, what are the process of agile marketing? So there are some couple of process in agile marketing. Now, this is very important. Take note of this point. The first step, you need to choose the metrics that matters. Now, if you are a business, let's say you are, let's say a macro SME, not a micro SMEs, a macro SMEs, a 50 to 100 scale company, you are a Fortune 500 company or Fortune 100 or S&P 500 or the rest. All right, you need to choose a metric with respect to marketing. Is your metric centered on customer satisfaction? Is it centered on productivity? Is it centered on profitability? Is it centered on lead generation? Is it centered on repeatable sales turnout? Is it centered on scalable, scalable competitive reach? All right, you need to decide what your metrics are. You don't just jump in and start working on it. If you jump in without a set metric, you go around in circles and you end up underutilizing the required effort as the. So the second point is you need to find your goals and pace. Now, this is very important. So after you set the metrics, decide the goal. All right, decide the goal. And your goals have to be smart. They have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound, and also you need to know what you want to achieve using your goals. So goals gives us a step-by-step traction, all right, traction timeline towards what you want to achieve. All right, so you need to know your goals and you need to know your pace. Now, if you know your goals, you can decide your pace. All right, sometimes what you see happen in organizations or most organizations is you have everybody running on steroids. All right, everybody is ready to do things fast, 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 fast. And the issue with you having to do things fast, 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 without everybody collectively growing together is that there will always be lags. There'll always be lagging. One person will be ahead, the other person will be lower. And guess what? You are as strong as the weakest point, most especially if you're in the marketing team. The weakest person in your team determines your strongest reach. So you need to decide the pace of your team, of your marketing team, right? So the goals and the pacing go hand in hand together. Now, the third one, you need to generate hypotheses. All right, what are hypotheses? Hypotheses are, there's several terms for it, but one of them is they're actually, drafted out assumptions with the possibility of predictable outcomes. So drafted out assumptions. You need to start with assumptions. Assumptions are required. So question you ask yourself is, okay, so I want to do what I want to do. Why do I want to do what I want to do? I want to reach out to X, Y, and Z persons. What makes me think that they need my product? I want to go to place A, place B, place C, place D. What makes me think that I'll become relevant? I want to dominate my competition. What makes me think I'm the only person there? So you need to write down all your assumptions. Your assumptions are basically, I call them possible truth jewels. All right. So for a business, you need to generate your assumptions, then test your assumptions. Very important. Now you move on to planning for errors. All right. So you need to plan for errors. All right. And if you don't plan for errors, you always have issues. So for instance, you might say to yourself in the marketing team, all right, or whatever team you belong to rather. All right. Possibly you're like, I want to get X, Y, and Z done. And X, Y, and Z task has been assigned to Mr. A. But Mr. A is not around. Will the job suffer because Mr. A is not around? Of course not. You have to plan for errors. You have to create multiple alternatives towards getting the job done. Very important. Number 5, you have to choose what to test next. And with this, there's a framework that you can actually utilize. It's called the ICE framework, like ICE. So ICE simply means ICE. You need to, first of all, test for the scale of your impact. Secondly, you need to check out for how convenient it is for you to execute. So the scale of impact, the convenience in execution, and lastly, the ease in implementation. So what is the scale of your impact? How convenient is the process you want to utilize? And how easy it is for you to create and sustain this impact? Very important. The 6th step is test and analyze. Well, all your assumptions have been generated. You need to test it out. Testing assumption is very, very important. Now, not just only test, but analyze the outcome, the feedback of your test process. Then step 7, what do? Repeat the cycle. So you've tried out step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, repeat the cycle. Very important. So if the first to the 6th step works out well, then you can repeat the cycle. If the first to the 6th step did not work out well, you can evaluate what went wrong and still repeat the cycle, because the aim is to ensure that the outcome matches the process and overall the system is able to be replicable. So outcomes, process, and system replication is very, very important, especially in the marketing field and other departments as well. So relax, Pause, breathe. There has been so much information. Now let's resume. All right. So now move on to talk about we want to talk about the agile marketing case studies. So there are a lot of case studies. Case studies are basically evaluation on research and evaluation done on specific concept businesses and the rest. So let's make this more practical. All right. So you see where agile marketing comes into place. Back then there was Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, CorelDRAW, and the rest. And there were there was actually a technical know-how gap in utilizing Adobe, in utilizing CorelDRAW. I don't know how to use CorelDRAW. Most of us don't know how to use CorelDRAW. Most of us don't know how to use Adobe. But then, Canva saw a problem. They saw the technical know-how problem, and they thought of a way of, minimizing that challenge and creating a product out of that challenge. You see, they also measured the scale of their impact. They also measured the convenience in usage rather. They also measured the ease in implementation. And Canva created Canva. You see? And with Canva, there's actually less technicality there. So whether or not graphic design, or you don't know graphic design, you're a newbie, a novice, wherever you are, you can readily use Canva and get the same result you want, just as you would have gotten from Adobe or CorelDRAW. The next concept here is the free trial subscription model. All right. So this is actually a marketing concept. Back then it's really hard before you get someone remove their money from their pocket and say, take my money, give me your product. So the concept of free trial came into place, such that you tell some person, don't worry, don't use this thing for 7 days free. Now they'll tell you that as long as you're making use of it 7 days free, input your card number, input your other stuff. We're not going to charge you, but after 7 days, we charge you. So that actually solved the issue of people not wanting to use a product because of several constraints, maybe financial constraints or the constraint of brand perception. And now people are able to use certain products, and of course you pay, because after the 7 day you pay. And the marketing process goes on and on and on. So you purchase the product, whether or not you like it, as long as you paid for the subscription. Now, the last one, most of us are aware of this last one. We know it. Why do I say we know it? We use it, Nigerians and I believe other countries. The loan process minimalization. Right? Back then, if you wanted to get money from the bank, you go through a lot of paperwork. All right, write this, write that, call this, call that, meet this, meet that. Like it's so tasking. Okay, but right now with some couple of apps, fintech apps and the rest, you download them and you can borrow money without even going through a lot of paperwork. Someone will give you as high as about 200K, as high as about 150,000, as high as about 100,000, as high as about 50,000. All these were all marketing connected and also product connected. So you say agile marketing cannot just be undervalued. It is super important. It is beyond the conventional marketing, paradigm. It is beyond just that, and there is a whole lot in it. There's a whole lot in it. So, what are the pros? What are the advantages? Now, note in every system, the advantage and disadvantage. There are no perfect system, no perfect system. So, what are the pros? The first one, you have constant collaboration or engagement. But now, with respect to marketing, there's always constant collaboration, constant engagement. You get to engage with the customers in real time for you to know what their issues are, for you to position yourself in such a way that you can render solutions to their issues through the creation of products and services that you're offering. So there's constant collaboration, there's constant engagement. Second thing is there's flexible tweaking. So that is one key advantage you have under all the agile system. You can tweak things. Tweaking means you can change things, you can remodel things, you can remake things, you can put things, you can try out things. You have a nearly an unlimited trial with respect to you checking out things to see whether or not they work. All right, so that is one key advantage. The third one is it informs strategy. It informs strategy. Very important. Remember, agile marketing is a framework. It is not a strategy. It's a framework that informs strategy. Very important. And the fourth advantage, it's a tool. The process it's a framework that fast tracks growth. so you can fast track growth. So when you talk about growth, you're looking at two things. You're looking at flexibility of process. You're looking at speed of performance, flexibility of process, speed of performance, and agile is a good tool that can help you with that. Let me also add this. What are the cons? Now, there are disadvantages. The first thing is, well, there's actually, starting first, for an organization adopting agile, there are tendencies for them to be a gap in knowledge. So a knowledge gap, because not everybody are used to such concepts. So everyone will have to be trained on the concept. So there is a possible knowledge gap at the process of initiation. All right. So that's the first. Secondly, there are tendencies for there to be the word will be, burdens in process. What does that mean? Well, if you're new to agile, it looks as though, from several perspectives, it looks as though things are just fast, very fast, very fast, very fast, very fast. And there are tendencies for you to be, loaded with pressure if you don't know how to handle pressure in executing certain tasks and projects. So these two are actually, disadvantages, but the advantage far outweighs the disadvantage. Now, this is the last and most important point. Remember, I told you this, and it's very, 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 very important. You take note of this. Agile is not a strategy and should not replace marketing strategy. Let that sink in. Let that go in. Agile is not a strategy. Remember, it's a process framework, all right? And it should not replace a marketing strategy, but it can inform strategy and enable easier dynamic strategic shifts over time based on feedback. Let me say that again. Agile is not a strategy and should not replace a marketing strategy. Now, same for you, it should not replace, whether you're into product development, it should not replace your product development strategy. It should not replace any strategy you have, all right? It's a tool that informs you about what goes on in the process, all right? But it can inform strategy and enable easier dynamic strategic shifts over time based on feedback. So customer feedback are actually gold. They're really powerful. All right. So your business is as strong as the quality of feedback you get. And also it is as flexible as your ability or the ability of a business to dynamically evaluate and extract insight from the feedback given over time by their customers. So without further ado, thank you. So far, this is just I'll use the word more of a comprehensive in-view into agile marketing. So, any question? Yeah, we're done. Is there any question? If you have any question, please do ask. If you don't have any question, I will ask you. Okay. So I believe we all, gained resourceful insight from today's KD on agile marketing, the roadmap to improving marketing performance. All right. So, any questions?
Okay. Yeah, if there are no questions, you could ask questions.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right. So now my questions are going to be very, very specific, and they are case studies. All right. So I am going to ask a question and then pick anybody. All right. So get ready. I might pick you. So now the question is this: in a scenario where there are major, okay, let's say you're in the market, all right? So a market is basically a collection of targeted and untargeted audience. It means people who buy a product, people who are yet to buy a product, people who will not buy a product, they are all there. Now, in a scenario where you have, mixed audience and you have to create products, right, to meet the demand of the mixed audience, most especially in the case where the minorities actually have a higher demand for what they're producing, but they pay at a lesser amount, and the majority have let's say a middle size demand for what you're producing, and they pay a higher amount. What do you do in such case? You create the product for just the little guys who have the numbers but lack access to the money, or do you create your products just for the bigger guys who are few in number but they have access to the means in terms of cash? So what do you do in such case scenario? Who do you create for? Who do you market to? So who's going to answer? I'm going to Pico. So
Yeah.
okay, someone's speaking.
Yeah. The truth is this: I can't readily say, I can't readily pick any of these options that you've mentioned. However, I want to actually answer the question in one of the approaches that you
Oh, nice.
mentioned.
Okay.
So you talked about Adobe, you talked about financial
Um, mm, mm,
institutions, the way they borrow loans, and some
mm,
other examples. But those two actually were striking.
mm,
And for you to actually meet both the rich guys or the enterprise and yet
mhm.
also meet up with the small,
Yes,
small and medium
small guy.
scale,
Yeah. Mm,
you just have
mm.
to just, at first, of course, solve the problem. Make sure that your
Okay.
product is actually solving the problem. Then you put it out that, okay, fine. For this so time, you can use it. Of
Mm-hmm,
course, it might be expensive, but
mm-hmm,
for the fact that those small and medium-sized businesses know the value of what your product is giving or
mm-hmm.
is solving, they will surely pay for it. So in that way, you've already captured both sides. And just like the side of
Okay.
Canva, you
Okay.
talked about Adobe,
Mm,
you talked about CorelDRAW.
mm,
I also do not know how to use CorelDRAW. I've
mm.
been trying to know it for years, but till tomorrow, I'll see people how to
Same
just say
here.
Photoshop, fine. I see
Mm,
have hands on Photoshop, but
mm.
see, I discovered
Canva.
Canva. I don't think I have the Photoshop software even on
Okay.
my computer. So,
All right.
of course,
Mm,
with that,
mm,
using your product to actually capture the
mm,
minds of anybody, the person could be
mm,
rich, the person could be poor, the person could be medium, the person could be anything. But
mm,
as long as you are solving a problem,
mm.
there's no how they won't pay.
All right. Now your answer is wonderful. It's good. But in your answer, therein resides a problem. Okay. Let me identify the problem for you. So look at it. If you're creating a single product now, all right, and the smaller persons they have the numbers, the bigger guys have the money, and now the product is created. All right. Now, if that product has a general price, or
Okay.
if it has a price that fits only the smaller guys, it means the bigger guys with the money will not patronize your business. All right. Why would they not patronize it? Class.
Yes.
You see, that's why pure water will not sell in pure water sachets will not sell in the island. All right. It will never sell in the island. Bottled waters will thrive more. Okay. So that'll be a question. That'll be a problem. And now if you create a product for just the bigger guys, all right. So the bigger guys have the money, they can pay. Okay, so the bigger guys will be able to, pay for it. If you create a product that is cash sensitive, the bigger guys will be able to pay for the money, but the smaller guys will not be able to pay for it. So you will lose a large number of persons, all right. But you still have those who have the money, but those who have the numbers will be missing. But there is an answer. There is an answer. What is the answer? Well, you customize the product based on the demands of the market. Wow, very striking. Never forget this. You customize the products based on the demands or based on the demand of the demand of the market. In other words, you can take that same one product, all right, and then split it into two. Now, one product existing as two, but the difference between the first and the second will be in its composition, in its features. All right. So if let's say you have water, right? The product is water, all right. But out of water, you split it into two. You have bottled water, you have sachet water. So in other words, those who are many can afford sachet water because they don't have the necessary higher purchasing power. Those who are few that have the higher purchasing power can purchase the bottled water. They won't go for the pure water. So in both scenarios, you save yourself and you funnel in all the money. They come to you. All right. But that's a very, 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 very wonderful, wonderful point. Okay. And I love case scenarios that give you an overview of how things really work. So let me ask one more. All right. And we are thinking, this is called strategic brainstorming as well. So now let's say, all right. So let's say you work in an organization that have higher verticals. All right. You work in an organization that have higher verticals. All right. And over the course of time, they have been doing well, but now they're looking out for a more dynamic way to do much more. And now you are made the manager of whatever department, any of the departments. Now, what can you do? All right. In what way can you convert the larger verticals that exist in this corporate organization? How can you convert a vertical structure, leadership structure, into a horizontal structure that brings everybody collectively as a team without the gap in power, without the gap in power? So how can you minimize power structure and maximize collective contribution? How can you minimize power structure, vertical power structure, and maximize collective contribution? All right, so who's going to answer? It's case studies, it's not just questions. So what will you do if you're the one? A big multi-trillion-dollar company, all right? But the department you are, kept in is kind of like Steve, all right? So what can you do? What will you do, all right, to tweak a bit the corporate culture and to establish an order within your department? So what will you do? So he's going to answer. Should I pick? All right. So who's going to answer, please? Miss Olivia is here, right? Yeah. Okay, Miss Olivia, can you help us out with the answer? If you're in an organization that have higher verticals, there's power structure, there's a whole lot of all those things there. Oh, she's not here. So who's going to answer the question for us in less than 3 minutes? Anyone? Oh my. Okay. So is anybody going to answer the question for me, or should I answer it myself? All right. Okay, someone wants to speak. Okay. Oh, Mr. Alex.
That's not that kind of voodoo.
All right. Okay. Okay. Let me give the answer. All right. So, every organization is defined by the culture, the cultural system that drives their operations, their performance, and of course, the outcome. So, for you to actually convert a vertical structure into a horizontal structure, it has to start from you. Now, what do I mean has to start from you? Now, you are the manager of that department, okay? It means prior to the time you came into the department, there have been a power structure in place. So the way people actually connect together is weird. It's very weird. But you are the change. You are the change. You are the possible change that can be created. And you do that by 3 ways, all right? So you do that by 3 ways. Number one, through quality interaction with team members, because what you'll be doing will be different, okay? They see you, they won't necessarily see you from the perspective of one who is in that high authority and they are in this lower area. So rather than your team members seeing you in this top, gradually there'll be a tweaking and everybody will like this. So the way you convert this to this is through strategic quality interaction, through strategic collaboration, through effective team bonding and team working. All right, effective team bonding and team working. And lastly, through sub-corporation. What that means in essence is that now there is the bigger corporate structure. You don't want to make everybody leave out of the vertical structure because it's going to be an issue. Big organizations have issues adjusting to change. All right. But you held the department. Okay. Your department can adjust gradually to change. But don't just go out and be the MD or the GM and say, sir, change everything. All right. If it works in your department, other departments would want to see why it's working. And gradually they'll adopt your concept. So in a way, you effect the change, the vertical change through horizontal horizontal reach, horizontal influence. So you influence vertical change through horizontal influence. So your change will get adopted from a department, maybe in the marketing team, the product team will adopt it because they love what you're doing. They see everybody working together. Wow, nice. Then the technical team will adopt it because now they're seeing the product team all vibing together, all excited. There's less toxicity amongst team members. They're happy. And other teams like that. And do you know what will happen? From the lower hierarchy, see, bondings will start emerging. And gradually it's going to go up. And everybody at the top would most definitely, to a great extent, gradually adopt what they see at the bottom. So the only way the top would adjust to the demands of the bottom is if the bottom gradually extend horizontal influence. So that is that about that. Full stop. Hope you all gained value today from today's KD. So go over the same KD again and again and again, and look forward and further to other exciting case study and KD as well. Thank you so much for your time. I remain Moses Elijah. Full stop. All right. So, Mr. Patrick, I'm done.
Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning, Mom. It's still
Okay,
like
good morning. I don't know. I don't have host permissions. I don't know the person who has that can stop it.
Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Patrick is no more here. But anyways, I just wanted to point out the post I made on announcing